You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know that I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but it's not limited to, Jesse. What's poppin', baby?
What's poppin', Conrad?
Hey, shit, what you up to?
I am keeping my eye on the markets today. It's been a wild little day today.
All right, what are you feeling? What do you think's gonna happen? What we got? We got some insight from Mr.
I think Jesse wants to scoop up some stuff on discount.
I did scoop up a little bit on discount. I wish I was more of a, for lack of better word, I wish I was more of a man and bought more. But yeah, the S&P is down 5% today, which is the biggest drop in years, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
One of the bigger drops in history. It's been a rough day for markets, but Bitcoin is up.
Bitcoin is up 85 last time I checked.
Yeah, and if you watched Bitcoin versus S&P 500 for the last year and a half,
Or Bitcoin is outperforming?
well, just you would not bank on Bitcoin being up on any day where the S&P tanked. This is some unprecedented stuff in the new paradigm of the Bitcoin markets.
What are you saying? Bitcoin's about to fly?
If I were a betting man,
Okay.
I might put some money on. No, I'm not recommending it. That's for sure. But I am a betting man, and I put some money on BTC.
Interesting.
That,
interesting. Guapo, what'd you pick up?
I'm a Bitcoin maxi guy.
Oh, yeah?
So all my money is in BTC.
Means you picked up some more?
I told myself I was only going to buy X amount every year, and I went through all that money by February. So, I mean, I guess I could deploy more, but it's not feeling...
Why?
I'm not feeling that brave.
Why exactly are you only buying X amount a year?
Okay, so here's what I did. There's these.
I'm excited to hear
I
this.
know.
Yeah. So there's these calculators, right?
Mhm.
Where if you put in, you start with a principal amount, and then every year over the next, for me, it was over the next 7 years, gets me to a number that I want to be at. So that means every year I have to put in that number. I put in my number by February, and I told myself I was going to DCA all 12 months, but I was like, man, I scooped up some like at 79, 80, 81.
All right.
If it dips again into the 70s, I guess maybe I'll just like go for broke and just put in more. But I kind of wanted to be disciplined and just keep putting in the same amount every year for the next 7 years.
I think I think it's reasonable to take that approach. I think the problem with that, and maybe this is what you're curbing against, is that obviously we don't know anything about anything. But the issue becomes that if there are events, which, you know, the way markets cycle, there tend to be outlier events. When outlier events occur, you're not liquid enough, or you're not ready to fire enough, right? Like if Bitcoin were to drop to, well, I don't know. Again, like I don't know enough. If it dropped to 30, maybe we all lose confidence in it.
If it dropped
Who
to 30,
knows?
then I would go for broke. I would deploy it all.
Yeah. I feel the same, but we just might be someone else's exit liquidity. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's tough.
AKA BlackRock.
You have this plan for when prices drop, and then prices generally hit their lows during panicky times.
Right.
And it's very easy to watch your net worth go down and buy into the panic and do the opposite of buying.
Yeah.
I've done it several times in the past, and I'm getting better each time where I do it less and less. But I was annoyed with myself today because a certain crypto-related stock that I'm super interested in dropped a lot, and I bought it at the lows. And I had this plan in my head to execute really hard if it hit certain prices, and it hit that price. And instead of buying more, like I bought an initial amount, and then I just spent my time scrolling Twitter trying to find like justifications to buy the rest, when realistically, like I've already done all the research I need to do. Like I should just pile my money in there and actually execute. And it's just so easy to not execute in those times.
I bought some fart coin as well, so Yeah. I got you.
Bartcoin is unstoppable, bro. It's insane. It's the only. It's one of the only coins that
the
I've
one you should
traded.
be looking at is fat.
Oh,
Bat?
Yeah.
it's not just fat.
It's I thought the ticker was fat.
Oh, maybe it is, but you're talking about what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Conrad knows what we're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
you do. I sent the video
Dude,
to
they're
the
blowing
group
up.
chat.
Like, it keeps going up.
Um,
I
play-
actually don't own any.
You can play it on. Actually, you can play it because it's better if somebody else says it other than us.
Maybe Connie can intro it for us. Hold on. It's gonna take me a second. Give me 1 second.
It's a meme coin, and it's in season, according to them.
It's in season.
According to them, it's in season, baby. I don't know how else to frame
I'm
this
so lost.
without. You pay attention to literally everything in the group chat except the one thing that I need you to pay attention to. It's like there was literally one, man.
I might have been napping.
No, come on, that's not true. Although you did manage to put a screenshot in there that was shared 12 hours ago.
Yeah,
So you are a little bit tardy.
I was napping.
Now, which of the videos?
I don't care. They're all great. They're literally all great. One of them's in on the mountain. The other one's in the gym.
Oh,
I think the one I shared was them in the gym.
All right, uno momento.
Do you know what it is now?
yeah, fat nigga season, baby.
Yeah, these niggas on their philanthropy arc, giving PlayStations out to all the kids on the block. Remember that pawn shop? This shit a Sotheby's auction house now. And this trap house, now a tech startup incubator. The YNs went from trapping to pitching business plans to the fat niggas. Look at these young entrepreneurs turning their life around. Your auntie's nail salon, a full treatment day spa. Check out the liquor store they used to buy bottles of Henny at. Now a high-end wine and cigar lounge. They going all out for their hood. These unhoused gentlemen could use some help. How about a penthouse suite? And that rundown park they was sleeping at? They turned it into the Fat Nigga Country Club. The fat niggas really blessed their old hood. Who should they help next? Let us know in the comments.
It's fat nigga season.
Hey, yo, shut the fuck up.
Hey, yo, shut the fuck up. This thing is rocketing. And it's so this is kind of like what we were talking about earlier this week with the ability to create everything from scratch with AI now. That's obviously all like fully fabricated from AI.
All of it, yeah.
And you know, I think when we shared that, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was like Tuesday or Wednesday, we shared that new program where you can literally create whatever you want from scratch. Like you can create a character and, you know, whatever. And I think everybody's mind gravitates towards OnlyFans. Like when I shared it to the group chat, we were just like going back and forth about it. And I think Sam or somebody was like, well, there's never a saturation of hot girls. Like there can never be too many hot girls. You know, they're always in demand kind of thing.
It's true.
And I think it's true. And your mind doesn't even go to like the other corners of creativity that are out there. But like this is one that's just going to rally a bunch of bros. You know what I mean? Like dudes are just going to see that and laugh and be like, I'm in. You know, it seems like because my experience with these meme coins is that they're all very very like rah communities that try to get everybody who's involved really hyped and feel like they're a part of the new trend or the new thing.
When they're all hyped, everyone pulls.
Exactly. It's when it's at peak popularity that you can ensure that rug is getting yanked.
Yeah, so it's up 32% today.
So the only thing in the world that's up today, by the way.
The best and only NFT I believe I ever made money on. Maybe I made money on one other, but it was called Frank.
Okay.
And it
What's up, Frank?
It was an animated picture of some animal. I don't even remember what animal anymore. And their whole theme was their Twitter whatever page.
Yeah.
They only use the word Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything was just Frank multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And like the bio just said Frank. And like anyone who tweeted at it that said Frank, like it would quote it and write Frank. And it just like took off. Like everyone loved it. It was just Frank, you know?
Those
and
things
like
have
anytime
such a-
somebody was like, "This is the stupidest thing ever," somebody in the crypto world would just respond and write Frank.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you fade that? You know,
They just have like such a short shelf life, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a joke like that, it's an inside joke and it's funny until it's just not. And the second that it's not, it's dead.
well, so yeah, I mean, this was not something I would hold for 50 years. That's for sure.
Right. But
But-
like what they're doing is they're mimicking traditional commercials of the past. Like, do you remember the Budweiser frogs?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Budweiser.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was funny until it just wasn't. And the second that it wasn't, it just became a part of history. It was a part of lore. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
see,
See, I
the
never,
Taco Bell
I
dog.
never stopped
Yeah.
enjoying those frogs.
yeah.
I really like the frogs.
Your attention span tracks with the frogs.
I'm a big Norman Chad type guy. Like, I like when you hit a joke so many times it becomes funny again.
Comes back around.
Yeah, like it's funny that you're still like beating this dead horse joke.
Right,
Like,
right, yeah,
and there
yeah.
is like there's a beauty to that kind of
Yeah.
humor. I think.
Well, because you have to suffer through the lull. You know, it's
Yeah.
very circular in nature. Like it was good when it started, and then you have to suffer through this long. I can't pronounce the word, but you have to suffer through this arc
yeah.
where it's just declining, and then it comes all the way full circle again, where it's like, you know what, this guy has done it for the 1,000th time, and I'm gonna laugh.
And then you forget about it for like a week, and you hear it again. You start
Parabolic, that's what I was
rolling.
going
Yeah.
with,
Yeah. The Norm Macdonald moth joke. I don't know if you guys heard that one, but that's like a good example of it. Where
Is this the greatest joke ever told?
yeah, I think so.
He told it on like the Tonight Show or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
took the joke where a moth goes to a psychiatrist and
Yeah.
basically is like, I forget what happens to the psychiatrist, but it turns out he doesn't need psychiatry, and he's like, well, why are you in here? He goes, oh, the light was on,
Right.
and Norm just makes it like 20 minutes long.
Yeah,
he gets
yeah,
into
yeah.
like the moth's thoughts on life and
Right.
death and infinity, and it's so good.
That's a little bit different because he's like really taking the craft of storytelling to another level.
Yeah,
His humor is one that like I think it took me growing up to really get, because if you're a kid, it's too nuanced. You kind of don't get it. I think he did an interview with Larry King Live where Larry King asked him, you know, something like, is there anything that you want to get off your chest? I don't remember what it was, but Norm's response was, I'm a closeted homosexual.
oh yeah, that's a great clip.
And he goes, you're telling me that you're gay? He goes, no, I'm deeply closeted.
He's like, no, I'm not telling you that.
Yeah, and this just goes on like a very serious program for like, 10 minutes. And clearly Larry King just like doesn't get it.
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, but that means you're gay. And he's like, absolutely not. I am deeply, deeply closeted. It's just like incredible the way
He picked
went
the
about it.
absolute best interviewer to do that.
Of course,
too.
of course, yeah. The guy who's like, his guard is down enough where it wouldn't even register to him that somebody would make a joke of the interview. You know, very good.
He does have this little smirk on his face, Larry, while it's going on. It's almost like his subconscious is in on the joke, but his
Right.
conscious brain needs the interview to continue.
Yeah. You don't want to run the risk also of being wrong. You know,
Yeah.
where he's actually like,
Yeah, he's trying to
he's
speak
trying
to him.
he's trying to let him know, like, no, I'm closeted.
Have you watched The Interview, by the way?
Gay.
Yeah.
It's like that
Why would
Eminem
you say
part.
that? Why would I say that? I'm deeply closeted.
No, but that means you're very, very gay, but you're you're so closeted.
Listening to Larry King say that.
Breakdowns.
Very, very gay.
Breakdowns at the level. That's the even funnier part too. Is like the more quote unquote closeted you are, doesn't like exacerbate how gay you are.
I'm like so far back there, Larry.
That means you're very,
That means
very-
you're really gay.
Why would I ever say that? I'm deeply closeted. I would never say I'm gay. Oh man, it's so good.
funny.
It's really, really incredible. I'm glad we could share that laugh in the early part of this show, because we're gonna have a lot of things to chuckle about when we watch some of these hands. But before we get to that, there's some things coming out from online operators that I think are noteworthy and worth mentioning. You know, we do a pretty good job of highlighting every time that they fuck up. Feels like when they get one right, it's nice to give them their W. You know, let them eat a little bit.
That's true.
Two points of note. We meant to mention this one yesterday and we forgot. So we'll get to it today, and it actually works out well because there was an announcement from PartyPoker that kind of coincides. But first one is BetMGM came out, what is this, April 3rd? So today's the 5th?
Yesterday. It was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday. Okay, yeah, today's the 4th. So yesterday they said, statement from BetMGM Poker Integrity Team. BetMGM Poker Integrity has concluded its review of March Mania event number 12 and determined that a participant violated our terms and conditions regarding account eligibility and control. The individual in question has been disqualified, and all payouts have been adjusted by advancing remaining players one rank. This action reflects our commitment to ensuring all participants meet account ownership requirements and eligibility standards. Now, obviously, they're not being specific about what rule was broken, but I think you can read between the lines with the language here that it's almost certain to be a multi-account sort of violation.
Yeah, it seems that way.
So either somebody was found playing on an account that wasn't theirs, or somebody was found, to have opened multiple accounts in the same event via family members, or however they go about it. It's important to note because in regulated poker markets such as Vegas, New Jersey, Nevada, sorry, I said Vegas, Michigan, Pennsylvania, it's not like other clients where you can just register multiple accounts by changing a little bit of information, changing an address, changing whatever. Because they geolocate and they have you attached to a phone, and they also, I believe, for cash out purposes, need social security numbers.
Yes.
It's one of one. Like you get their KYC is very, very, very high. So it's nearly impossible to open a second account without going to the lengths of either buying somebody's account or having a family member be in cahoots with it.
That's for sure, because when you sign up for these accounts, you need your social security number.
Yeah.
Not even on Cash Apps.
Yeah. The KYC is incredibly high for regulated poker. So
did we have to do that for WSOP here in Nevada?
I believe so.
I don't remember.
1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%.
I mean, I signed up in 2013 or 2014, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure their KYC is such a...
100%.
They also give you tax forms, so it's almost certain that you have to give them a tax ID number.
Yeah, they never asked you for your social security number past their opening when you open the account. So, yeah.
Yeah. So in any event, obviously they didn't go public with who was the cheater, but they did us a solid by telling us what event it was and what their refund process was, which was going to bump everybody up one spot. So the good news is now the remaining players taking souls, etc. Well, actually, we didn't know. Let me rephrase. We didn't know who in this event had cheated and what spots would be bumped up. But Taking Souls woke up with an extra 3,300 in his account. So suddenly it became very evident who the cheater was in this pool. Taking Souls, aka Jake9633, tweeted out, "Turns out I won this one on Sunday. Thank you, MGM, for making it right and taking security seriously. I don't know the exact details, but seems like somebody was playing on someone else's account." So it looks like the violator here was Sven, whoever the hell that is. Not to be mistaken with Sven.
Fake ass Sven.
No, not to be mistaken with Sven.
With our Sven, right?
Right. Yeah. This is Spen, perhaps even S-Pen, if you will, depending on, if you're the dude from Key and Peele. Key and Peele? AA Ron?
Peele, yeah.
I've never seen that.
You never saw?
Oh, it's good.
You never saw the AA Ron skit?
Enjoy that one.
Come on, dude. Come on, dude.
AA Ron?
I don't watch comedy, right?
Yeah, but I've never watched the show. I've seen this bit though,
Jake
a million times.
Wait, you don't watch comedy?
For the most part, no.
Like shows or movies or stand up or none
Remarkable,
of those?
isn't it?
Any really, when it comes down to it. Like I might back into something sometimes, but like
he's truly the biggest laugh whore I've ever met in my entire life.
I was going to say, he enjoys laughing more than most people I know, so it's kind of funny.
Doesn't find anything funny actually funny.
I don't know. No, beat it.
Beat it.
What was the stupid shit we were talking about the other day? Oh my God, this fucking Berkey or whatever.
The ending of Bert Kreischer's comedy special.
Yeah.
I liked it, so I don't know.
You also have to watch it within context of the whole thing. It was a real build-up. He's like towing the line between making you cry and making you piss yourself laugh at the same time. And that precise emotion is very, very rare to evoke in a comedy special. So he hit it with me. I was at Lone at like 11 p.m. He's talking about his dog dying, and I'm like feeling,
Did you laugh or cry?
I laughed. I was
Was
laughing so hard. Conrad came in to check on me.
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I had tears streaming down my face. I was laughing so hard, but it's one of those things where you're kind of like laughing through the pain. Like, he just paints this portrait of his dog dying, and I have an older dog that I'm going to lose within the next year or two for sure. And he does a great job of the buildup, and you're right on the brink, and he hits you with a punchline, and it just I was absolutely dying. And also, it's like a shit joke on top of it, which is for sure going to get me every single time. You make a shit joke or a dick joke, and you got me. Like, I am not highbrow comedy at all. I don't need the Norm Macdonald nuanced subtleties. I'll laugh at them. They're great. They're brilliant. But like, you hit me with a nice, and he reaches under and stuffs his hand in a pile of shit, I'm on the floor, man. So he definitely just like had the right template there to get me going.
Something about Mary got me at the movie theater. There's a scene where Matt Dillon electrocutes the dog to bring it back to life.
Yeah.
Oh, that one it killed me.
There's so many good scenes in that one. Franken beans.
I feel like I like that movie. Like, that was something I laughed at, I feel like.
That was a great movie.
It was a good movie.
Those guys have a house where I grew up, and every time I go fishing, it's on the water.
Those guys being Matt
there.
Dillon?
No, the Farley brothers.
Oh.
And every time we go fishing,
How fucking rich are you?
it's not. Jesus Christ!
My God!
It's the summer people are very rich.
The main event was just like a little,
These guys may have made like,
bro. I literally have
Connie.
no stake in anything that makes you like. The only thing that I have that's made me like money or an investment that's related to where I'm from is I bought a house after the main event. But other than that, like, there's no. A lot of people who live there are like working class people who like work on the houses for the rich and
for your parents.
All right, fine. My
companies
parents
did you own growing
are.
up?
What's that?
What companies do you own? American Airlines, Delta. Tell me.
And Floptimal.
This is very casually the Farley brothers. These guys might have made 5 of the best movies in our lifetime.
For real. They're
Incredible.
impressive humans.
Incredible.
And then they just
Good.
just walked away. Like they weren't like the Wachowski brothers where they'd made like 8 bad movies and were like, at some point they're going to stop giving us money, but
Yeah, that's great scene. Great scene.
So
oh
good.
man. Poor thing. Let's get back to the cheats. All right, so Party Poker came out today via Poker News, and they have an announcement. I don't know if this is actually. I feel like this is a bit misleading after having read the article, but the headline is "Players caught cheating online will not be welcome at Party Poker's live events going forward." And the company has floated the idea of a global poker blacklist where players banned on one platform would be banned on any other and/or live events.
You said this is Party Poker, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when reading the actual article itself, it looks as though they started their poker blacklist way back in 2022, and they implemented a zero tolerance policy against players who seek an unfair advantage. They formally announced their approach to weeding out bad actors and introduced what they called the poker blacklist. The policy ensured that individuals who have been banned or cheating online will not be able to participate in Party Poker's live tournaments. So that was all the way back in 2022. I think that the gotcha headline here is a little bit misleading. Nothing really changed. But what is happening right now is that they're trying to call for a global poker blacklist. So it says other operators have begun recently discussing stricter measures to combat cheating in poker. Party Poker has floated the idea of a global blacklist where players banned cheating on one platform would be prohibited from playing on any other site and or live event. However, due to regulatory and logistical challenges, implementing such a system remains a difficult task. Despite these hurdles, Party Poker remains committed to leading the conversation on the issue and advocating for a universal stance against cheating in poker. That I think is probably the most relevant part of this article, especially if, they're just kind of reminding people if you get caught cheating on Party Poker, you can't play Party Poker live events. My understanding, knowing a fair amount of people in the industry that work for operators, both globally as well as locally here in the regulated markets, is that the biggest hang up with outing cheaters, with publicizing any information directly, with coordinating with other companies when it comes to something like this, like a global blacklist or whatever, is that, and I don't know if it has anything to do precisely with KYC or not, but basically customers have rights to their information. The only thing that I could think of, and again, this is just me as a layperson, not really knowing the ins and outs of how these operators work, but the only workaround I would imagine that could exist is if all of these operators put into their TOCs or T's and C's, the terms and conditions, that the customer's information is free to be shared with other online operators.
Well, that takes what? An update?
Yes, but you have to understand, I'm coming from a place where I assume that that's just okay to do.
Yeah.
I don't know the legality of it all, right? But I do know that like most companies, if not all, are not allowed to sell your information without your consent. And I'm not sure what happens when there's like a breach. I know that there was a huge breach maybe 2 or 3 years ago with what's the major company that checks your credit?
Fuck.
Credit Karma?
No. Maybe.
Keep going.
Equinox.
Yes.
Is it Equinox?
Oh, Equifax.
Equifax, sorry. Yeah. Equinox is a gym. Equifax, yeah. I think that there was a huge data breach there, and a bunch of I'm pretty sure I was involved, like where your social security, your name, address, all that stuff was stolen and floated out publicly. I don't know that anything ever came of it, but I'm sure the company itself faced legal backlash in some sort of capacity. Anyway,
I never got my check in the mail.
Yeah, same. Still waiting.
Yeah.
But that brings us full circle, I guess, to like if there is a route towards coordination at the operator level, I would presume it would have to begin with them being allowed to share consumer information amongst each other. And for that to be the case, I would imagine you would have to write that in to everybody's terms and conditions. Now, to Conrad's point, if it's legal and that's all it takes is a simple line in your contract that you give to your consumers, pretty fucking easy fix, right? Like we just update the T's and C's and we make everybody opt in or not play. And now all of a sudden we have our global blacklist.
Yeah. To give you an idea, there was 147 million people affected by this this credit breach, whatever, from Equifax.
Yeah.
It looks like they got $125 each. Like if you signed up.
What's wild is that's obviously nothing to the person who had their information stolen.
But that's a lot of money.
That's $1 billion hit.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. But yeah, still, that's interesting. And that was it happened in 2017. It looks.
Oh wow, so it was a lot longer than I thought. Yeah, I thought it was more recent than that. So yeah, I'm not sure what spurned this article by Poker News today regarding Party Poker. Like I said, it looks as though they've been running this so-called blacklist since 2022, where anybody that they catch cheating is not allowed to run the live events. But it is a nice reminder that there's some actions being taken place, and that there's coordination at the top.
It's interesting because somebody in the chat actually just brought it up, but unregulated sites shouldn't have to worry about this.
Why?
Sharing names.
Why?
Because they're operating legally already, right? Like they can't really get sued.
Well, they're operating in a gray market, but of course they could get sued.
Yeah. Okay.
They're still a company.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, like they're not obeying necessarily local gambling laws, but like they still
a company, still can get sued for the situation.
Yeah, and like Party Poker, for example, is public.
Okay.
They're on the London Stock Exchange. So it's like they definitely have to be above board.
Yeah.
And
PartyPoker was one of the few companies that actually complied when,
yeah,
what was it, 2005?
2006.
2006?
October
It's
2006.
the UIGEA thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence
Poker
why they were
Stars.
allowed in.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
allowed immediately back in when regulation happened.
Poker Stars sent us all emails saying, we got your back. We don't really care what the U.S. government has to say. And then they paid for it, obviously, in 2011. But
They probably made out in that winter.
yeah,
When it was
they
all
made
said and
so
done.
much money in those years.
Yeah.
And PartyPoker, do you guys remember PartyPoker was the #1 site, I think, at the time
Yes.
in
that's
2005.
True.
And
That's definitely true.
yeah, they very quickly became like the #8 site, and Poker Stars just took over.
Yeah, the timing of it was very interesting because I think Full Tilt had only been launched for a short period of time, maybe 6 months at most.
Yeah, Tilt was crushing after that, right?
Yeah, so what happened was Party left. They said, we want to be on good standing with the United States. We're going to go public on the London Stock Exchange. We're just going to be rest of world. Stars and Full Tilt stayed.
Mm-hmm.
Stars' profile obviously went from a very close #2 to a resounding #1.
Yep.
And then Full Tilt just rode those coattails.
I just
Blew up.
imagine the board at Full Tilt talking about potentially leaving the U.S. They're like, well, we're stealing everyone's money anyways. We might as well piss off the government.
I imagine at that point they didn't know that they were going to steal. It was probably many years away. You're just in the developmental stages. You leave the shady, underhanded stuff for unless you're a smash and grab. Like if you're any one of these altcoins, not altcoins, but meme coins, that's a little bit different. Then you're already planning your exit before you even start.
You made me realize that the true mistake that Full Tilt made was being too early. If they rugged us in 2025, no one would even notice it.
God, yeah.
They're like, another rug. Okay.
We'd be so happy for like 20 years of service. Like, God damn, we thought that was going to happen a long time ago. Thanks, guys.
Do you think anything's ever going to come of like all these rugs that happened in the internet?
I just saw the Haktua girl
It got thrown out, right?
Yeah, had her day in court with the SEC, and they threw it out.
Yeah, I saw
They
that
said we
too.
have no
so
regulation over it.
So the answer is no.
Yeah.
If the Haktua girl doesn't get in trouble, then no
Right.
one. Well, to be fair, the SEC probably was like, I mean, you can't bleed a stone. She doesn't have that much money. Is that worth the SEC pursuing?
That's probably true too.
How much money did she make out of this? Because from what I saw, it was a pretty big
The
number.
rug was pretty big. It was definitely multiple millions.
Yeah, but she's got
who
like
knows
this
how much of
team
it she
that-
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember, like,
It's not like she set this up. I think she had like a team. Maybe somebody approached her and said, hey, we can do this.
right.
Yeah, of course.
That's often what happens. I know Adam 22 is connected to something like that, where he just kind of shrugged and said, like, these guys gave me a flat fee and I just promoted it.
Yeah. My favorite UFC fighter, Hamzat, did the same thing, actually.
No.
Did you see this? Yeah, he had a coin, and it got super rugged, and he was getting some shit for it from Strickland.
Huh.
And
I think Strickland's probably the only person who can give him shit for it.
I mean, if you've spent like 2 seconds watching Hamzat say anything,
Of course, you just know.
yeah, he's not deep in crypto land. Like, he doesn't know. He was like, brother, they told me to promote a coin.
Outside of Strickland's everything else he does, he's one of my favorite fighters.
He's one of my least
You know
favorite
why?
fighters.
Why?
Because we went to one of his fights before, and we asked him what he did on where was he on January 6th? And then in the press conference, he's like, and these fucking guys are asking me where I was on January 6th. Shout out to the source.
Wait,
my
is
boy
this the
Pete.
same Strickland that has been playing poker lately?
No,
No,
that's
that's-
Colby.
Oh.
No, that's Sean O'Malley.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Sean O'Malley's been playing poker?
Yeah, he played
no
with
way.
Nikki at the Absolute Nuts game.
Yeah, and I
No
think...
way.
Heads up against Frankie.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Yeah, he's been playing some poker. He likes it.
I think I saw a tweet the other day where he said he stopped, like, all his vices. No
Yep.
drinking, no drugs, no alcohol, nothing else, and then he picked up poker.
Yep.
Who did? Sean?
Sean
O'Malley?
O'Malley, yep.
Yeah.
Can you possibly find the video where he shows his training regiment? You know what I'm talking about?
O'Malley?
Yeah, with the bong.
With the what?
I don't want to like ruin it,
Oh.
but do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but let me just cook a little bit.
It's just like put up like Sean O'Malley, like I don't know, like moped bong training, something like that.
Moped bomb training.
Bong, B-O-N-G.
Yeah, well, I heard what you said. Doesn't change my reaction at all.
I mean, he's just
Here you go.
So he takes a hit of the bong, hits the pads, wearing the fanny pack. Speed walking. Okay.
Look at him go. So he made that video obviously a long time ago, and then one day he won the title, and people were like, "This is your new champion."
Has he ever fought Merab?
He fought him and he lost, and he's fighting him again, and he's going to lose.
Is his
again.
sparring
That's who
partner?
Rob took the title from.
You
Sean.
can't beat Merab.
Is his
Sorry.
sparring partner also smoking a J in that video?
Probably.
Yeah, I think so.
On the back of a moped? Is this in Thailand? It has to be, right? Like,
There's a lot of good stuff going on in that video. Nobody's going to beat Merab probably. I think if anyone would have, it was
Umar.
Yeah, and he did not,
yeah.
and he won't get his shot for a little bit. They just announced yesterday that O'Malley and Merab are going to have a second title match. Like, they're giving O'Malley, which is like pretty, I don't want to say undeserved for O'Malley, but like Merab torched him.
Yeah.
It likely things won't be any different. O'Malley is actually a little dangerous though, so I guess he could like get a clean shot in and potentially knock him out. But Merab's such an animal, man.
They said the
hard
same thing
for
about
anybody to beat
Connor,
him.
but it ain't gonna happen.
About Connor?
Yeah, when he fought Khabib.
Oh yeah, I mean it's possible, but yeah, that's tough because Khabib just has this aura of a guy who can't be knocked out. Obviously, everyone can be knocked out if you hit him hard enough, but I don't know. There's something about Khabib that seemed magical where you couldn't put him away.
That's because he didn't let you fight. He just put you on the fucking ground. Like, you can't swing.
He beat Connor standing up. Like,
Okay,
maybe
so,
debatably, but he was outworking Connor standing, and then obviously he just torched him on the ground. But
yeah.
he's a beast, man.
It kind of makes for a very boring fight. You know, like
The wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it. Like, that's how you win, but like, it seems pretty fucking
I used to
boring.
hear this argument all the time about Floyd Mayweather, but it's like, yeah, he's not going to be the most exciting fighter in the world, but if you appreciate the craft and his defense and his boxing, then
Yeah, I mean,
I think contact sports just go through different waves. Like the heavyweights were the early
80s.
to mid 90s, the late 80s, I guess, whatever. Same thing with like UFC. There was that period with like Brock Lesnar. I don't remember if what's his face? He was like the most popular
Iceman.
Yeah. What was his real name?
Chuck Liddell.
Chuck Liddell.
Oh, Chuck
was he a
Liddell.
heavyweight?
I want to say
He was light heavyweight. Yeah.
Yeah. I only remember
What's
from
a Chuck Liddell?
from Entourage. What the fuck is a Chuck Liddell?
That might be my favorite,
so
like top
good.
3 episodes of that show. It's so.
I
Man.
rewatched
That
it
was
during
Matt
the
Dillon's little brother, right?
Yes.
yeah.
They literally, the producers were like, okay, we need a character who just only gets jobs because of his brother. Like, oh, let's get Kevin Dillon.
Yeah. was
Such a
really
good
great.
call.
Yeah.
And he literally carried the show. Like, any scene that doesn't, I rewatched it recently too, and I noticed that any scene that doesn't have Lloyd and Arieh in it, like, it's just literally Kevin Dillon carrying the show.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
What's the name of the main character? Adrian Brody or
Adrian
something?
Greener.
Or Greener, yeah.
Or Grenier, whatever.
He plays the role perfectly, but he's so boring as a main character.
Yeah, it's funny because the show's sort of about him, but he's the least important character.
Yeah,
of the
he
show.
reminds me of like, or I should say Keating reminds me of him a bit, where they're just like soft-spoken, kind of quiet, have this certain charm about them where they're clearly the main character, but also like you're just not getting much out of it. You know, you need like the secondary characters of that show really did make it. Turtle, yeah. I mean, less so E kind of like moved storylines along.
He kind of sucked.
Yeah, he's a wet blanket.
He's just like, I miss Sloane every episode. Get over it.
Sloane was the baddest.
She was the greatest
by
of all time.
far. She's so hot.
Sloane is actually the GOAT. Every time I say the GOAT, what I really mean is the GOAT besides Sloane. Yeah.
Right, yeah. You know that E is actually Randall Emmett and somebody else.
Turtle is supposed to be Randall Emmett.
So the way he told it to me was that
Arieh.
No, Arieh is actually Arieh.
Oh, okay.
In real life. I mean, not the same character, but his agent's name, Mark Wahlberg's agent, is Arieh. I don't think it's Arieh Gold, but it's Arieh something. The way Randall told it to me was that the E character and the Turtle character were basically two people in in Mark's like entourage or life or whatever, split and combine, if that makes sense. So like basically so you might be right. Like it might have just been like both of them.
So there's one guy who had elements of E and Turtle.
Correct. Well, there's two. Basically, there were two guys that had elements of E and Turtle, and Randall was one of them.
I got a feeling Randall was a little more Turtle than
Probably.
E. Just watching, watching Randall operate.
Probably.
You know, he wasn't exactly out there at all.
No, but like at the end of the, when it's all said and done, Randall is a producer. Turtle from the show. Like,
true.
He didn't make it.
Whoa.
Probably still driving fucking
Avion or whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, he made so much money. Did you watch the movie?
No.
It's so good.
No way.
How did I not watch the movie?
You definitely watched the movie.
I don't think I did.
You need to go. I will watch it with you after this.
Okay.
It's so nostalgic and amazing. There's a scene in it that you would love where like throughout the movie they keep being like, how much money does Turtle have, and they're like, he won't say because he just made tons of money. And then in one scene, like obviously Arieh doesn't care about any of this, he just cares about Vinny and his movie. And in one scene they need the investors to sign off on just $2.5 million extra for this movie.
Yeah.
And the investors are just not doing it for other reasons. And Turtle's just like, how much money is it? It's only $2 million. Like, I'll just pay it. And Arieh just stands up. He's like, how much fucking money does this guy have? And it's such a Berkey type of response.
Arieh really, really carried the show.
He was great.
Arieh's best.
Just fantastic.
Best.
Run it back though. Kevin Dillon, man, he crushes every scene he's in.
Kevin Dillon's Lamanna.
Oh, don't do Turtle like that.
What do you mean?
I mean,
it's not the
Kevin
worst
Dillon's
character.
Was like very aloof and very like not knowing of anything and just
No. He wasn't an idiot. He was just like he fluctuated between self-awareness. Like he was
way too
completely
self-absorbed
oblivious.
though to be Lamanna. I think.
No, that part's true. That part's very true. Lamanna is very self-aware, but the obliviousness that he possesses, I think, is like very on brand with Lamanna. And like the serious nature through which he took himself. Often too serious, very in brand with like the Lamanna.
I had to look up who Kevin Dillon played, but now, yes, I see.
Do you remember the scene where they're giving E shit about his girlfriend issues, and he finally fires back at them, and he's like, Vince, you've never had a real relationship. Turtle, you've never had a real relationship. He's like, Drama, you only love yourself. And Drama just looks at him and goes, what's not to love?
That's such a Lamanna response.
It's true.
It's such a dad joke. All right, we're going to get to the main topic. Otherwise, we're just going to rehash Entourage clips on motherfucking Wednesday. We want to cover some of the top televised hands of all time. Saw that it was a Twitter thread that I got tagged in, kind of piqued my interest a bit. I replied with one of my favorite hands of all time. And
which one did you reply with?
The Robl. We could just start with that one, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's a great hand.
It was the Robl Antonius hand where they're playing PLO. I think it was PartyPoker Live event. And Robl gets it all in with top pair of aces on like ace. I guess I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Ace 7-4, 2 diamonds. He has ace queen queen jack. And I don't know how deep they were for it to go in. But this is a loose get in, to say the least.
It's probably like a 3 or 4 bet pot, I would imagine. And he was just like, I have the aces advantage. I'm just going to pile and I'm not going to fold.
Yeah.
Backdoor flush draw.
So Antonius obviously has a wrap and a flush draw. They negotiate 4 times.
And Robl wins the first time. Wow.
And you can now listen to the banter.
By the way, for those who don't play much PLO, Antonius's hand is the literal dream.
Yeah.
In this game.
You can see he's a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah, with no pair.
Robl gets that one. Wow, Robl hits a running full house, and he's won 2 out of 4 already.
Should have ran it twice.
And a 10 of hearts. And again, Antonius needs
Look at how many straight draws he has.
Every single out.
And Robl gets it again. Unbelievable. Remember, he was only 23%
Gotta be so
to win the hand.
tilting.
He's won 3 so far.
Even Locke's impressed.
A 3 and Antonius will make it straight. But look at this. Robl's got a spade draw. Antonius is way out in front here. Oh! Comes out.
Run like Robl.
Spades
legs, and Robl wins all
Here's the cherry on top.
4 runs.
That is one of the most insane things I have ever seen, Barry, because Robl was only 25% to win the hand. They ran it 4 times, and he won all 4. The chances of that happening, let me get a pen, it's less than 1%.
It's so sick that they even ran it 4 times.
Big hand for Robl.
Reminds me from Sammy Farham.
What happened?
Robl gets insane lucky.
It's turned off the.
But
It cut off on the.
I swear to God.
Antonius.
No, you turned it off. We're looking at the bar.
I literally just switched over because it paused. You're not going to do this to me. I'm sorry.
This is the whole reason I picked the hand.
Everything
This
correct,
line is dynamite.
Look, like I'm hitting play,
Isn't able to get the reward.
and it's a whole different thing going
In the
on.
long run,
Oh,
you
that's
will.
on me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Wapo. My fault. I didn't mean to say that to you.
He wants his apology now.
Oh my gosh! The whole build up was to the line. He goes, reminds me of Sammy Farha. He used to do this to me. It's so fucking good. Yeah, sub 1% for that to happen, and they catch it on TV, which is like remarkable. Just impossible for a hand like this to occur. This feels like a hand that I would play in Omaha, except I would get scooped.
Wait,
Like I would just lose all 4.
he did lose all 4.
No, he won all 4.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm saying
sorry.
I would be Robl.
Yeah, gotcha.
I would just get scooped for sure. There's just no way I'm ever winning a fucking run out with that dog shit hand.
It's true.
Like, what are you gonna do?
It's almost
I mean,
impossible.
you kind of just, when you look at what he has and you have just an ace, you kind of just like write the pot off.
I don't think. I mean, look, this hand is probably,
That's just too many outs. Like I'm never fading all.
yeah,
those
of course, but you don't think you're gonna lose all 4 runs.
No,
Also-
you're hoping for a quarter of it.
Also, when did this happen? Like 18 years ago, something along those lines. I doubt. And look, Robl's a super sharp dude. So is Patrick. I doubt they knew that it was 75-25 or 70-30, whatever it was. Like I'm sure they knew Patrick was a favorite, and I'm sure that they thought it was like a pretty substantial one. But I would imagine if you set a betting line, the line would have been like 62-38, something along those lines, and you would have
Really?
I think you would have got action on both sides.
Man, I don't know about that. His hand is just snutted.
Bro, he got scooped.
The fucking absolute
scooped by one
catastrophe what happened to him. But
Do you guys know what the odds are of losing all 4 in that spot?
It's less than
They
1%,
said
Jesse.
less than 1% in the.
Yeah, it's 1 over 4 to the 4th, so it's like 1 in 256, I think, which is pretty sick.
Yeah, less than 0.5%.
that's fucking insane.
Like it's such a parlay of events because I guarantee those guys rarely even ran it more than twice. And they just
Right.
happen to run it 4 times. And then one guy happened to win all 4 when he's a 3-1. It's pretty sick.
Maybe in Omaha they run it more than twice, a little bit more frequently. I'm not sure. I obviously don't play it enough.
I mean, they might have also identified that they were like way the best of the two, best players in the game, and they might as well run it.
Decrease variance.
Yeah,
in that
against each
particular
other.
spot. Yeah.
Am I wrong in saying back then they used to run it 3 times more than twice?
Not sure.
I feel like it's been evolved to run twice, but I feel like business was always ran 3 times.
3 times? I always liked 3 times because somebody gets whacked a little bit, which is
Yeah.
nice. But the counter argument for 3 times is really strong. Like
It's brutal for the dealers.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. It always gets chopped up wrong. I remember one time Mike will never run it 3 times again because he was playing in this cash game at the Bellagio and he ran it 3 times and the last pot got split.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to do it into a 6th or into 6ths.
Yeah.
And he said that they had a dealer shift change while they were dividing up the pot. Everyone was like yelling at the dealer, and you know how it goes. Like everybody starts yelling at the dealer, and the dealer can't think, and then it becomes worse. And it took like 25 minutes to do this pot.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
He's like, I'll never run it 3
That's very
times
unfortunate.
again.
Well, speaking of running it more than twice, another hand that made the list, and this is also one of my absolute favorites. I realize now that I picked a lot of hands where the hand itself is not that impressive.
It's just the banter
it's
or
way more
something?
the banter and the entertainment value that you get from seeing painful shit happening. So this one was, I'm sure you guys remember, the original big game by Poker Stars.
This is my favorite hand of all time. I know which one you're about to.
The loose cannon with Hellmuth.
I highly doubt any hand will ever be more entertaining.
Just incredible.
Yeah. Everything in the universe came together perfectly for this one.
I call kings.
I got 3 9s.
You lie, be kidding me. Okay, that's what I feel.
What are you slow rolling him for?
Here, man.
Maybe at 10's full. I mean, he was so happy. That was so unreal.
That was torture.
I didn't mean to slow roll.
It was a long tank before he called it off.
Oh, hey, thanks for asking me.
3 times?
Yeah, that's
3 times?
Yeah, run it 3.
3 times.
3 times. Yeah, that'll
You
work.
might win one of those 3.
This guy's probably never ran a pot more than once in his life.
Wow, and you straddled and everything. That was perfect.
He probably plays 2-5.
You made it so much before the flop with ace-9. Our loose cannon has 1 foot out the door.
Watch Tony G in this. His comments are
he
great.
loves it. Or what?
Everybody fucking loves it.
It gives you a better chance to win.
Yeah, sure do. Cool.
Man, he's just fucking angling him.
He can talk him into 10 times, man.
Need 2 kings.
Just fucking taking as much money as he can out of him.
Queen jack.
Hey, run a jack.
Spades.
Hey, run a runner.
So we'll see the turn and river 4 times with each pot worth a shade under 50 grand. Run number 1. A jack of hearts.
Queen. Yeah, queen, king.
Yeah, outs, baby.
The river, an ace of diamonds. Round 1 goes to Hellmuth.
Phil Hellmuth is filled up and made a full house. He's
All right,
locked up at least
starting off
25% of his pot.
Strong for Phil.
Run 2. The turn, a king.
There we go.
There we go. Look at those
baby.
baby.
Get me down.
If you ran it twice, you got money back.
Damn. Oh, damn, I said 4 times, though. Damn, didn't I? Stand back up now. I thought it was only twice. Come on.
The river's a 3.
15% dog. Ernest has won the second pot.
So that's cool. I'm feeling good right now.
Hellmuth already has the next 2 runs locked up in his mind.
Our loose cannon will stick around. Round 3,
Spades.
a 7 of spades.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's rooting for a spade.
You can now hit a king or a spade to win this run.
The river, it is a spade.
This is such good TV, man.
This kid, he's up 2 to 1. Why did you go for 4
Face is literally the best.
One more time. One more time. Put a king ball out there.
You gotta give it to Phil,
Ernest
man. He's the
Wiggins is
greatest
now
loser to
half
watch
the pot.
when he's losing a pot.
At least he thinks he's getting half back at this point. He's like, okay, no way I can lose the 4th run.
Come on, one more. King.
It's so much
The
fun
final
being
run.
at the
Ernest's
table
odds
not
continue
having
to get
anything at
worse and
stake.
worse, but
You
Phil
just
was
get the
sick
anti-sweat.
anyway.
A queen on the turn.
9%.
Jack. There's a jack. You want a jack? Jack, king or a jack? One time. There's what? 3 jacks left
right now.
The final river card. It's a king.
I like this little shuffle right here. Watch this little shuffle.
Look at his face.
Everyone's so happy except Phil.
The sick thing is he turned outs on the first run too. He could have actually
Jack 9
scooped.
off suit.
Wait,
That's
there's so much more of that clip. Oh no.
No, well, not what we had. We took it from Stars.
Oh.
It just moves on in the show.
Oh, there's like a whole celebratory period, and then Tony G's like, Phil deserved it for the way he played that hand. Like, it's just so brutal.
What do you think was more improbable, that or Robl scooping all 4?
Robl scooping all 4.
Well, you have to remember he was a 9-1 dog when they got the money in. Robl was only a 2-1 dog.
Yeah, but running it 4 times.
They did run it 4 times. He won 3 out of 4 as a 9-1 dog.
3 out of 4 is a lot easier than 4 out of 4, but he's much worse. I don't know.
It's got to be close, right?
That's the sort of thing where we have to consult Chat GPT and not Grok. Grok might calculate incorrectly.
Yeah, don't do math on there.
Don't
I used to consult Russ, but now he just directs me to Chat GPT.
He's too rich. you can't. The problem with smart people getting rich is that they value their time and their peace.
I mean,
You mean video games?
Yes.
Yeah, if you want to talk about valuing your time in terms of not doing work for other people, he valued his time pretty highly, even when he wasn't that rich. So.
That's fair. That's actually very fair. Well, since we had Phil on the wrong side of one, let's look at one where he's actually on the right side of one. I don't know if you guys remember this, but
That doesn't sound too fun.
Poker Night in America used to do what did they call it? They called it a battle of something. I can't remember, but it was right around when Liberatus challenge was taking place in Pittsburgh.
Oh, is this their heads up thing?
Yeah, so they did a heads up between Jungle and Hellmuth. And Jungle played easily one of the worst hands I've ever witnessed.
I actually
in poker.
watched this hand live and couldn't believe it, especially coming from Jungle. Although Jungle is more of a...
He's out there, man.
He's more of a... He likes to play more field poker, or at the time, he liked to play more field poker than probably most heads-up players.
Yeah, that's probably very true. The actual hand is, I know we're talking about like, you know, top 10 hands or whatever. This actually might be top 10 worst played hands I've ever witnessed in my life.
Did you send this one, Matt?
Did I not?
I don't see it in here.
Shoot.
I'll just do Jungle versus Hellmuth.
Yeah, you can find it very quickly. I had it queued up. I must not have gotten it over to you though.
I like these reactions with the squares in the monitor.
Oh yeah,
in each
yeah,
corner.
Guapo's got it. All
We should run one instead of in the muck. We should run one of these every episode.
That's not it.
It's a heads up match. It's Jungle folds to Hellmuth.
Gotcha.
Man, I closed my tabs. Otherwise, I would just. I guess I can find my history. It's kind of nice because these hands end up accidentally all.
You got it.
Going from one to the next. Okay. From this one, we'll have one of the dumbest folds of all time. Again. It should be Jungle with like his head down. Yeah, this is it. Yep. So to give you guys a little bit of what happened here.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You got a little ahead of yourself here. You can go to the turn. The turn's the most interesting.
Have on him.
Let's just watch the whole thing.
So it looks like Jungle raises pre. Hellmuth calls. Hold on.
Yeah,
Flop.
so what
Flop.
ends up happening is Hellmuth check calls the flop, I think.
Yep, for 2200.
And then check raises the turn 10. Which is actually like, in heads up, this isn't that terrible.
10
I
on the
don't
turn.
think.
This one's not going to be going to Hellmuth.
What, check raising the 10?
Yeah.
The 10, Hellmuth check raising, I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems pretty reasonable. You have two overs and a backdoor. It's almost like it starts bordering on too good to check raise, but
right.
It's a pretty reasonable combo. You have a backdoor flush draw.
I think you'd probably want to have, I mean, your first choices would be like hands like 5-4, ace-5, ace-4, stuff like that actually has draw to the nuts.
You're also blocking Jungle's best tens.
But yeah, well, it's heads up, but yeah.
Well, depending on
wrong.
depth, you might not want to check raise like 5-4s if you can get shoved on and have to
Yeah,
fold.
of course. So the SPR on the turn is 3, so they're already very shallow. Most check raises here would either be a click or a jam. Jungle bets like 76% or 75% pot. Hellmuth makes a weird raise size. I think he goes to like 21 or 20-ish. So it's like 3x, just shy of 3x maybe. But he commits like a huge chunk of his stack. He only has 29,000. And I think he puts in, of the 29,000, I think he puts in like 19 or 20K.
I'm gonna raise.
Oh boy.
He's just like so sure it's gonna work now that like he doesn't even consider what he's leaving behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, he makes it
17.
No, 12,000 more. So 19.6. He leaves himself with about 10K behind. Obviously, Jungle can't fold.
We've learned a lot today.
I don't know what he thinks he's beaten by.
Phil has
I guess
some
a better
moves.
10.
It's hard to imagine a world where the optimal sizes aren't either stone min or all in.
Those are the only two sizes.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. I mean, I've looked at enough.
Yeah.
I've looked at enough to know that this definitely is just absolutely not accomplishing anything. I mean, I guess it's like in lieu of jamming, that would be your range, but like this hand would never fit
Phil's
that.
worked hard.
Yeah.
To pull it back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
It's really hard for Doug not to just like troll endlessly during this hand. It's like
But
Phil's
he is
got some
bluffing
moves.
into 3 of a kind.
It's a little awkward when you when
I
you
don't know
you check raise flop, right?
Do you have any more stacks of that?
In this spot?
Yeah. So when you check,
turn.
oh, I thought he check raise flop as well.
Check call, check raise.
Oh, he did check call flop. Okay. Yeah, never mind then. I was gonna say if you check raise flop and then your opponent, you check to your opponent and they bet 75%, like they're repping tens.
Yeah.
But
pretty heavily.
Yeah.
He likes his 3 of a kinds. Kind of a read I have on him actually specifically.
Is he wearing a shirt that says Jungleman? Also, can we move this along? We know how it ends. Like, we got a lot of hands.
He likes to wear costumes.
As much
today,
as I
he's
love
dressed
hearing
as
Doug
Jungleman.
fill the fucking dead air and Jungle contemplate. So the 9 of diamonds is like...
Wait,
I guess
what?
Jungle just gives him only flush draws here.
I'm sorry, what just happened?
Yeah, which is kind of weird because
What the fuck?
I think a flush draw would just shove, right?
Queen Jack offsuit. Fucking steaming. You said he used it. I have Queen Jack offsuit. Show him.
Fucking steaming.
I think, if I remember
Words
correctly,
cannot
too,
express.
Hellmuth came back and won the match.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, which is just fucking incredible. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just impossible. He gets a guy to fold trips for nothing. He jammed for like quarter pot, something like that. I think it was 40,000 out there. He shoved for like 9,900. I mean, like impossible fold. Definitely not.
Yeah, if he calls, it's just over, right?
Yeah,
He covered,
it's just, you found the once in a lifetime bluff. Who cares? But like, he could just be valuing worse. He might just have like 2 7s.
Yeah,
probably not.
Yeah.
But like,
it's one of those spots where you do expect him to have zero. Like, given that Hellmuth doesn't really ever bluff this way, you expect him to have zero hands that you're beating, but you're also getting like 9-1 and you're blocking trips.
no, but that's the thing. That's what people don't know about Hellmuth. Is this exactly how he bluffs?
Yeah, it's true. Well, if you watch that Daniel Negreanu heads up match, he did some wild stuff in that. Yeah.
The only way that he bluffs is to have bluffs in nodes where people think he has exactly 0.
Yeah.
And then he just shows up with randomness.
I mean, it's
genius.
He's not.
It's not genius.
He's not winning all these tournaments for no reason, right? Like, he's got tricks up his sleeve for sure.
Man, go back and watch the 2016 Super High Roller Bowl with 2 tables left. He lost his goddamn mind.
Oh, it's so good. I
He
love that year.
lost his mind.
It was
We're all
always like
sitting
the
there-
last hour of every day, too, where he lost. Yeah. And he murked people. They were just like, oh, I guess
Absolutely.
he has it 6 times in a row.
Yeah, we're like sitting there. All of our assholes are puckered. This huge bubble is looming. It's the biggest event that the majority of us have ever played. And Hellmuth is in there just like 3-betting 9 deuce suited from the small blind.
You love to see
and
it.
rifling it off
So
against
good.
Dan Smith, who like doesn't give a shit.
It's he spent a lot of years building an image, and he decided to.
That was the time to cash
utilize-
it in.
Yeah, it was a 300K. Why not? It worked out for him.
I do agree. Well, while we're talking about folds, let's go ahead and check out this. This is actually top of my list when it comes to speech play. This is one of the best speech played hands I've ever seen in my entire life.
This has to be Seiver.
It's 100% Siever versus Tobias.
Oh, it's a great hand.
It's such a good hand.
So I made a top 5 or top 10 list for my favorite hands a bunch of years ago, and I feel like the Hellmuth one and this one both made it into.
They have to.
Yeah. The funny thing about this hand is what you're going to see is actually a small portion of the amount of time that he was in the tank. And Seiver said way more stuff.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Like,
actually true. It was
I
like
don't
a
wanna
20
spoil
minute.
it,
It
so
was
I'll
like a
say it
20 minute
after.
hand in real life.
Yeah, it was a ridiculously long tank.
I'm all in.
Wow, there's a playa.
So for people who have never watched this clip,
All in for over 6.8
well, go watch the
million.
whole thing.
Boy,
But
Seiver dangling
Seiver
on a
opened,
cliff.
Tobias just peeled the big
Reinkemeier
blind,
has slow
Tobias
played
called a
his
flop
aces
bet, and then
exquisitely.
Seiver rips turn.
He's
Like,
played like he's not
they started
strong.
like 18 blinds deep or something.
Now
Way more
he's
shallow
a
than
bit
that.
unsure
And I think
and in a dicey spot.
they were on a bubble of some sort, either a pay jump or
Yeah, they're on the final table. So
I think they were on a pay jump bubble.
Pressure.
well,
the
final
maximum
table.
pressure.
Yeah. Sorry.
To Reinkemeier, who has the bigger stack.
The funny part is too, I think Reinkemeier still finished higher than Scott,
Yeah, he did.
despite this hand.
There's no justice, man.
Yeah, but I think they were really short. I think they were like 11
if
blinds
Tobias calls
effective.
here and loses his hand, he'd
Yeah,
be
it's
down to
pretty
5
wild.
big blinds.
Am I allowed to tell my hand by the way? That's the best.
Everyone knows your hand anyways.
You really? What is my hand?
It was either king, queen, or ace, queen. It's the only thing you would ever call.
You're wrong, man.
Oh, wow.
I'm better than them.
Ooh, that's a nice hand.
The best starting hands possible
Poker?
in poker.
Nice. With the club?
With the club, I would have paid the bet already.
I understand.
That's Scott's scared face.
Sometimes there's just nothing you can do.
I know.
It's brutal, though.
I know, it is brutal.
I understand. Fuck.
And on one drop, too. Yeah.
I know, it's like not...
But you can't sweat it, you know? These things just happen.
I could still throw my hand away. No.
The snap no is beautiful.
I know you
I
would.
would think less of you.
I know you would. I know.
To his credit, Scott seems very comfortable. He just looks and sounds so casual and confident. I might think he's holding a monster.
Scott's such a fucking G for this
Scott,
one.
but honestly, I'd rather disappoint you and get away if you're ahead.
Oh, that laugh was so fake. I would have
Yeah,
snapped.
Yeah, he's being really nice to him.
I think I should shut up now.
I mean, you don't have the ace queen.
He's right.
It's unlikely. I don't think you would jam the king queen there.
He's right again.
So
I don't know if that's true.
Why can't he just have
king 10 or 10 9?
so many naked
course,
ace of club hands?
with club, but even against those hands. I wouldn't
Like, he could just have ace
fold
10
this,
ace of clubs,
you know,
no?
Scott?
I don't know where he opened from. Yeah, he could have ace 10, ace clubs.
But you don't put me on aces either.
You can also just can't he just value jam ace queen if he has it?
After
Scott
talking this
doesn't
out
look
loud,
as
it
comfortable now.
sounded like he was going to call.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, I just gotta...
the pot size jam and you have aces. Pay the
It's
man.
quite a big final table too.
I think Tobias's biggest mistake in this hand was the willingness to engage in table talk,
of a very difficult
and then
decision, trying to figure
continuing
out
to
if his
table talk
pocket aces
after
are good
Scott
against
shut
Scott
up.
Seiver and his all.
Like, you're not
We, of
getting
course,
anything at
know
that point.
Scott
Your
does
chance
not
of getting a
have
read
main
was when he
hand.
was talking.
Yeah.
Clock. There you see Daniel Negreanu calls the clock, as is his right.
Tobias has taken nearly 10 minutes with this decision.
Clock started at 9:50.
So now Tobias has
A very
1
young
minute
jack.
You announce it, right?
or his hand is dead.
Scott looks like a zombie.
My doctor doesn't examine me this thoroughly.
Oh my god. I don't even know what I would do if I was trying to give reverse tells here, but Siever's the goat of reverse
all of
tells.
Reinkemeyer's chips.
Well,
I mean,
Tobias with the best hand.
he did
but
something
he's up
very
against a
special
flush,
here,
He's drawn
that's
dead.
for
If he's
sure.
up against a set, he's got 2 outs.
We asked him
If he's
about
up
this
against
when we
two
had him on
pair,
the
he's way
interview,
behind.
and I remember him saying that he had some sort of history with Tobias. Like, either they were good friends
They were
or
good friends.
So they were okay. So
running out of time.
I was going to say it afterwards, but they were good friends. They swapped in a lot of these tournaments.
There's no chance that's aces. That would be
impossible.
I'll
no
say it
chance.
I think so much less of you.
How do you do that?
Reinkemeier is stunned.
That's a little rough. I don't know if I'm good friends with somebody, I wouldn't wing it like that, you know?
Yeah.
This is the biggest moment of his poker career by
$1 million
far.
buy-in.
So the one time I talked to Scott about that hand, he was annoyed because they didn't show the whole 15-minute tank. But apparently there was way more to it, where Scott basically told him, if you really have aces here and you fold, I will never swap with you in a tournament again.
$1,200 is now the
He
bet.
sold the you cannot fold your hand. It doesn't make any sense so hard.
That he leveled him into a fold.
What a fucking gangster.
Really cool hand.
What a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
Scott's
Now,
the
honestly,
man.
the audience, I don't know what the average age of the audience is or how much televised poker they watch, but having been through the whole entire cycle personally, that was peak. That was absolute peak.
Right? That was beauty. That was before solvers too, so we were kind of just like you can hear Reinkemeier being like, it's unlikely you have the ace queen. Like, I mean, you have 2 aces. There's still six combos of ace queen.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you've cut down the number of combos, but when you're not losing to that much,
right? Right.
You kind of got to put the money in. 6 combos is a lot. You have drawing basically dead.
Right. Yeah. And if he ever has ace jack with the ace of clubs or something along those
King
lines.
queen, ace 10 with the ace clubs, like you said, he might have. I don't know where he opened. You have like ace 9. Like you could have a bunch of random ace of clubs hands. It's Seiver. Like it's not like he's the tightest player on the planet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that hand for me was like peak of what poker had morphed into. You know, we watch a lot of these old school hands. We'll get to a few more as we go through the list, where it was just like, you know, they were just gamblers like firing it off against each other, and there was great banter, and they're all very memorable either because of the size of the pot, the hand rankings, or like things that were said. But like that was a combination of everything. Like it was a skillful play by Scott, and it was just like peak fucking like table talk. You know, he's kind of known for that aspect of the game. Like he's very good at sussing out tells, at giving off reverse tells, at engaging in banter. And in this particular instance, he literally talked his opponent out of calling him dead.
It's pretty insane.
Like, we don't know what the river would have been, but like my money's on the aces. It's epic. He played another hand too. I think it was the following year on the Super High Roller Bowl cash game versus Dan Coleman, where I think it was kings versus aces. I think Coleman had aces and Siever had kings, or it was either that or Siever had kings and Coleman had nines and flopped the 9.
Coleman had aces, Siever had 9s, and it was like a 4 or 5 bet pot, and it came king 9x. That's why I think of kings.
Yeah, that is why I was
Coleman folded because he thought Siever had kings, but he actually just had second set somehow.
Yeah, he had second set. That hand was really entertaining to watch. It wasn't like, nothing about it was super impressive, except Coleman's fold obviously was very good. It was next level. But the banter was just so entertaining. Like just watching Scott play in a high stakes environment when he's comfortable is so incredible. And I think it's something that with every year that passes where he's less of a feature in these sort of environments where, he gravitates more towards the mixed games and we highlight them less, we lose a big aspect of what made televised poker great. And we beat this horse to death all the time of, what is stream poker? What's the future of it? And all these other things. I think we really forget the characters that emerged that were just fantastic at their craft. And Scott was for sure one of them. There's a lot of others.
Best.
Yeah, there's a lot of others. We miss Vanessa, that's for sure.
Yep.
We miss her passion for the game, her blowups. And it's like, I say that, and I mean this not disrespectfully, even though it's going to sound that way, but like what we're left with is Hellmuth. And it's like, I say it in that way because it's like, it's almost not fair that he has to carry that burden throughout generation after generation after generation of being the quote unquote brat. You know what I mean? It's like Vanessa actually had a shot of replacing him as the brat, but she got in, she got out, she moved on to bigger and better things. And there hasn't really been a likable character like Phil or Vanessa to kind of fill that void of somebody who is just like the most enjoyable person to watch lose.
Mm-hmm.
And since we brought that up, there is a Vanessa hand. Of all the hands that she played, this one is the one that sticks out to me the most. The Jack 7 versus Prahlad's Ace, which for those of you who don't know Prahlad, he probably only ever had one hand here.
Prahlad is all in.
It is a mistake. I call.
Vanessa calls.
I can't.
Aces from Prahlad.
No.
He's got aces.
Yeah, I know.
I'll bet you
How many do you want?
She has ace, king, or kings?
Nope, I have nothing. Twice?
Whatever you want.
Such an earnest
Two, three
twice,
times?
like,
Sure.
please.
That's it.
So the backstory to this was she was
How much
quitting
do you
if she dusted here. So that's why the 3-time negotiation was more helpful.
So they're gonna run it 3 times.
She wanted to have some chips.
Almost booked a win, couldn't do it.
Almost booked a win, couldn't do it. I've been there.
Nice him. I'm gonna leave if I don't.
I think I speak for Vanessa when I say, even worse, some of Vanessa's outs have been folded, so she's a bigger dog than she
I was
thinks.
about to say, how is she 15%?
First of 3 runs coming up. Winner will get a third
Why
of the
Jack
pot.
7?
King
Of
4
all the
5.
hands.
That's not good.
She'll need runner.
6 and 9.
You know what's funny about that?
Don't waste it.
Vanessa used to have a theory that anytime somebody
6 of
spazzed out
diamonds would give
pre-flop,
her
they had a
straight
jack in
and
their
flush
hand.
draws.
Why?
She just noticed, like, every
To the
time she
turn.
watched somebody spaz out, they had
Nine of
something like
hearts.
Jack
Alright.
9 or King
Put
Jack
up.
or whatever.
Right.
Deuce of clubs.
And
Oh,
like we
ace of
talked
clubs
about
is
that
good.
one time, and then
I think Prahlad knows the
that
time for
hand
speeches
happened.
is
Like
over.
I think that hand had
River,
already
10 of
happened, but
hearts.
like I
Yeah.
saw
Locked
that
up
hand,
a
it was
third
like,
of the pot
oh,
worth over
okay.
Maybe a little bit of
113K.
projection.
Yeah.
I mean, King Jack makes a little more
Why do I
sense
do
than
this
Jack
to myself?
7.
Not against
Every time.
Prahlad. You need an ace 100%
Not
of the
every
time.
time. I usually don't do this to myself anymore.
Antonio's just
I'm not
loving.
laughing. I'm just,
Pretty sure he was laughing.
Here comes the second of 3 runs.
Like this is
King
the
5-2
this
diamonds
is
flush
the,
draw for
the
Vanessa.
thing that we don't
Sorry, a diamond
have
over
now.
there.
We don't have this
There it is.
this
That's the
melding
spirit. Show
of the
the
old
other diamonds
generation with
that
the
you
new
want. The
generation.
diamonds.
You know?
Maybe more useful here than it was in the last one.
Vanessa only needs one more diamond.
Turn 5 of hearts.
Wow, Prahlad is strong. How did he dodge it there?
Missing the flush draw would be devastating. She's not likely to flop this good again.
To the river. No diamond, 3 of clubs.
What a brick.
Break ball.
Super break.
Bricktastic.
So Prahlad is
Bro, there
2/3
is
of the way to
nothing
scooping
worse
the
than
biggest pot
after
ever
torching
won
it
on the
off and
big
losing
game.
3 runouts, having
What
to
an
listen
absolute
to
gift from Vanessa.
Honestly, she has
At the
all
table
the
commentary
she has
from
all the
that
heart in the
one.
world to run it 3 times.
On number 3.
I would have ran it once. There's no
4,
way I
6,
want to
king,
be there
3
for
more bricks. This is getting
3
hard to
TV
watch.
runouts.
Not
Like
even a
they're
sweat.
so
Vanessa's
slow.
down to 2 pair trips or a straight. All of them runner. Or else Prahlad's going to need a wheelbarrow to bring all his money home.
To the
That'd be like
turn.
a 5 on the turn, right?
Deuce of spades.
Dead.
Prahlad's going to win a pot worth over $340,000.
Wow,
Just-
Prahlad did it. That's sick.
Just remarkable.
Phil Lock, dude.
What does he have a Unabomber
I'm outta
patch
here.
for? What the fuck was that?
Playing with you, Vanessa.
I was playing with you.
Good playing with you, Vanessa.
It looks like they're sitting in the same chair as you, Matt.
Yeah, maybe. Oh man, the
Good
days
times.
of yore.
Yeah.
Days of yore. Those were wonderful times.
It is a little sad, like nowadays it's all about eating well and getting the right amount of sleep and working out in between sessions and just optimizing in every way. And back in the day we had Krantz high on pot brownies playing 200 400 like there were such good moments.
Yeah, it was a
throughout the
different
poker world.
It was
Yeah.
a different time.
You get some of that stuff, if you hang out at the live tables in Vegas. You get to watch some of that stuff still go down, but it's so rare.
Absolutely. I can assure, well, especially once you start to get into the behind the scenes of private, like home games and shit like that. Bro,
I mean,
I've seen some things.
I've seen some stuff from some private games in Texas. I won't say where that will really blow people's minds.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. All right, so we have a few hands left. We're gonna go through the cooler section now, as that was inevitable. And we're actually going to bring in one of the mixed games. So we gave you a little Omaha representation. Now we're going to give you a little bit of the
Poor Yockey.
deuce to 7 triple draw here, where Yockey flops a pat 7, number 2, and Arieh is drawing to the wheel.
Mulling things over.
So for those who haven't played deuce to 7 triple draw,
You want to look at your card?
starting with pat number 2 is insane.
Oh my God.
Absurd.
I swear on my mother's life, I didn't know that this was going to happen, man. I was just kidding around. I can't even believe what just fucking happened. This is pure. Oh my God.
That's the old one, isn't it?
My heart is bleeding for young Bryce Yockey.
Can somebody
What?
make sure that that's a 6? Because I threw a 6 away.
My
You can look at it.
Oh my
No,
God.
that's his discard for sure, but you can look at it. I don't care.
Yeah, I was
Can you
just
make sure
messing
that it's a
around,
six?
Dolly. I
Very
mean,
low.
I can't believe it actually happened.
Oh, you're straight 7, huh?
He started with 3, 5, 6.
I see it. This is a possible run out where the deuce 4 comes in and then you pitch a 6. I mean, oh my God. This is the worst beat I've ever seen in a televised tournament.
Did you really make a wheel?
Yeah.
No fucking way. You made a wheel? At pat number 2. Oh my God, dude, that's insane.
Against 3,
Oh,
5,
man.
6 also.
I was saying off air.
I want to start crying right now.
I was saying off air that reaction is so hilarious to me because he's basically just speaking gibberish to a no limit hold'em player. He's like, "No way! Pat number 2.
I had gobbledygook, man."
Yeah, it's just like I don't know what just happened, but it looked like it was really ugly. No, I remember when this hand happened in real time, and it was just like I think this might have won photo of the year. The Yockey standing up, saying that he had pat number 2. That's got to be one of the bigger. Oh my God, I left off one of the greatest hands ever played.
What's that?
From this exact event, a different year.
No, leave it off.
I completely forgot
Leave
the
it off.
Ryan Lang blow up.
You talking about burning the place down?
No, that one wasn't a hand. That was just Hellmuth talking.
Oh my
No,
God.
when Lang folded to a half a bet on the river versus Jungleman, who then came back and won the whole event.
I had a piece of Lang.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, he still got second.
Yeah,
It's true.
Volpe.
Volpe's the one that
Volpe
really
should
got
be the one in
fucked.
tears.
Yeah.
Lang was probably getting second regardless. Just,
I don't know.
He had a
Volpe-
lot of chips at that
He
point.
did have a lot of chips.
He's
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah,
That was a tough one. I
that
actually
hand was
get
insane.
his fold there.
Come on,
He was
man.
fucking the whole year.
There is no shot that's ever not a raise for value.
Okay.
I just,
It's right up there with Jungleman's fold versus Hellmuth. Like, yeah, you're right.
I know. You just, this is why you pay. But I'm
Right.
just saying I get the logic behind it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, in that instance, you just pay for the sheer human error aspect of it. It's oh, human error occurs 1%, and I'm getting laid infinite to 1. Call.
What price are we pulling this up, or are we just talking about it? I wonder what price he was getting. I think he had to pay off like a half of a big bet.
It was a half of a big bet on the river with
Who were the players?
him betting Jungleman and Ryan Lang.
LENG?
Yeah.
I feel a little biased because Ryan's a friend of mine.
Yeah, I like Ryan too,
also,
but like you can't help but troll him over this hand.
I also feel like you never ever see bluffs in limit in general, and then you never see a bluff raise, and then if you ever did, it wouldn't be for a half a bet. And then on top of that, there's like this ICM factor. So I just feel like Jungleman's like negative 1,000% to ever have a bluff in this situation, and the fact that he raised worse for value is very rare.
The thing is that he could raise. Obviously, it would be an ICM error, but he could raise a bunch of chops here. He could just raise ace-8 or worse.
Oh, every ace chops that's below a 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair then.
It's just,
yeah, you're right. I didn't think about the chops. I didn't see the actual board here.
Yeah, it's 150K to win 3.3 million. So he's getting 20 to 1, 22 to 1.
Look at that background. That's solved for why.
22 to 1.
Look at that background. Look at that hair.
Didn't click call.
Jungle was in good shape then. Good for him.
Himself and call Volpe
Yeah, I didn't know the exact run out. It's been a long time, but you're right. Just the ace chop value is too much.
ICM wise, it hurts Lang to surrender that pot because now him and Volpe basically have the same stack.
Oh, did they after that? I thought he was massive chip leader.
It was 8 million to 7 million. Had he called, it would have been 11 million to 7 million heads up.
There's some interesting things that happen sometimes at ICM. I had a spot at the final table of a WPT where Fareed was the massive chip leader at the time, and he's the kind of guy who will really abuse when he has the chip lead. And
That's
this guy,
an understatement.
Yeah, this guy shoved for like 4 bigs, and I'm in the big blind with some trash. And my hand is like a fold in chippy V land. So normally, under any circumstance, it would be an easy fold when there's ICM implications. But instead, I think it becomes a call because I got to get this guy out of here with 4 big blinds, or Fareed's just going to make my life better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like there's some cool stuff that happens.
It's interesting.
In future games.
Yeah.
When future games applied.
Yeah, I think all of it's fun and interesting to talk about from strategic. Jesus Christ, I'm stroking out. I can't believe somebody folded getting 22 to 1.
Shut up. Can't take it.
Never in the history of my life. Okay, so going along the bad beats section of this top hands, there's the iconic hand played on high stakes poker between Negreanu and Hanson, where Negreanu sets him in a 3-bet pot and Hanson turns quads. Honestly, watching this one back, this isn't that bad of a beat.
Wow.
Count his.
Wasn't expecting it.
It's not that bad of a beat.
No, and you don't even need to play the audio that much on this. Like, nothing super interesting is said. It's a 3-bet pot where Daniel 3-bet Gus. So I think that they were playing 300, 600, or 400, 800. Gus opens to 21. Daniel 3-bets to 55. Gus calls. Gus then check raises the flop. Daniel
5,500?
calls. Yep.
Okay.
Small 3-bet.
Yeah.
Typical small ball kid poker.
Yeah. Just ISOing his man Gus Hanson.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
So comes 9-6-5, obviously set over set. I think Daniel bets something like 7K into 10 or 11 rather. Gus check raises to like 29,000. Daniel calls. Turn 5. Gus bets. Daniel calls. River 8. Gus bets like 65,000. Oh, no, sorry. No. Sorry, he checked either turn or river. But anyway, he for sure checks river. Daniel bets 65K into whatever the pot is, like 100 and something, and Gus jams. So now Daniel's getting laid a little over 2-1. It's like 165 to win 400. And obviously makes a crying call, but like you're just beat here a lot by 9s.
Yeah, I was just thinking the only hand you're beating is 6-5 for value is 6-5 of clubs.
Yeah,
which does exist, but
yes, I suppose
from
it
Daniel's
exists.
point of view. Yeah.
But really tough. Again, this is 2006, 2007. Like Daniel even having 6s in a 3-bet pot here as the 3-better, I think was way ahead of its time. But not giving him credit for 9s or 8s at a really high frequency here is probably an oversight. Here's the thing. Point I'm getting at is I know Daniel would make this fold now because if you recall, they played a super high roller bowl cash game on Poker Go between him, Ivey, and can't remember who. It might have been Antonius.
Patrick Antonius.
It was.
He made the fold to Antonius.
Yeah.
I did a whole thing about this. It's a wild hand.
It's an insane hand.
Yeah.
That hand to me.
It's actually like in terms of like best hands for how interesting they are, not for like entertainment value. That might be up there.
You're right. That was an oversight not including it. If you,
I mean,
can
there's
find
so
it.
many hands you could choose from. There's
But
a lot of great poker
I
hands.
thought of it immediately when I went to this hand, so I definitely should have pulled it up. But for some reason, it wasn't. I didn't remember it being that interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead and run this one.
I gotta find it. Give me one second.
It's one of my favorite hands of all time. He just
sounds like you did find it.
I think. I want to say that at the time I felt like the biggest mistake was the jam by Antonius. Maybe I'm just wrong, but Negreanu's only beating like a very light-ish, given the situation, value jam from Antonius.
And didn't Phil fold Queen 10 here? He just folded A10.
No, I guess Negreanu's mistake is the biggest mistake, right?
Yeah, you can
almost check the river.
Yeah, Phil had a
actually
10.
watch the hand. Phil had a 10. I can't remember what 10 though. I do remember thinking like for the game or the stakes or whatever. Okay, you can go from there. Then Antonio maybe fast played his hand a little bit too much.
Yes.
What is Ivey's
so
reaction?
Can we see the flop because it's a 3 or 4-way pot?
Be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's a 3-way single raise pot.
I just say,
and it gets.
And there's a 5
Is it just
for
a bet and a
Patrick.
call, or is
and
it
a 9 for Daniel? Set over set, and a 10 for Ivey.
That blink rate of Daniel when he flopped the set. Jesus.
Just hold on to explain that. Like
Daniel
a lot of blinking
win
means
a high blink rate could mean one of two things, but it always means something.
So it's either I have it or I don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like heavy breathing, right? It just depends on the human being and what high blink rates mean.
But I'm correct in asking it's either I have everything or I have nothing.
I would assume a high blink rate that comes with a calm blink rate afterwards is a very strong hand. Because like now he's blinking less because
Another
he's
10.
thinking.
Well, this should bring a bet from Phil. No, it doesn't.
Oh, my gosh.
And it should bring another bet from Patrick. No, it doesn't.
So when Negreanu bets here, he's saying like I have a 10 or better.
Yeah.
Or he has, a few bluffs, like he's gonna have like 7, 8, that sort of
Jack,
stuff.
yeah.
Occasionally.
Daniel
King Jack.
Will for sure.
He should get the bet here pretty freely. He bets too big though.
Daniel bets 26,000.
But that's what I was gonna say. When he bets this big, something's already like up where it's like, man, I don't know if bluffs go this big ever.
No.
It's just such
multi-way
a.
What
here,
you got there?
You can't do
well,
this.
in theory they definitely don't, but in reality too, like they're
Phil
laying themselves a
decides
terrible
to-
price to have your opponents not have a 10.
Exactly. Yeah, especially
Err
multi-way.
on the side of caution.
I think like
and just call,
anything from like
which is
40%
correct
to
in this hand.
70%, 75%, whatever is pretty reasonable.
Patrick's probably got
Once you
it.
start to get in that pot territory though, you're way out on a limb.
Yeah. So then both players call, I believe.
He does have a full house.
Yes. And after that, it's
Full
kind of
houses are
like
not easy to come by.
okay.
Seen a bunch of them so far.
Daniel
Ivey-
has the
I just
nut.
say they're not
Ivey
easy to come by,
calling
and
this
he
size
says,
bet on the
Oh, yeah, I've
turn
seen a
is a
bunch.
10 or better.
Yes,
so then
we
when
have,
Right,
when
but you're right. They're
Antonius
not easy to come by,
overcalls,
for sure.
he's
I
got
don't
an
remember two in
insanely
the
strong
same
hand.
hand.
Like
Yeah.
he's also got a 10 or better. There's only so many
Patrick
10s in the
just
deck.
called.
No, I think one of them could have flush draws. For
Hands
sure.
like this just
especially because you
don't
unblock the
happen
9
too
of
often.
clubs. 9x of clubs is for sure in there. 7-8 of clubs
One
is for
player
sure
with
in there.
trips, 2 players with a full house.
Okay, fair. There's a few
If these were
combos.
three
It's just a matter of like
recreational
which one of them
players,
has it.
Everybody would be all
But
in
I
right
agree
now.
with you. One of them
Yeah.
for sure has a 10, and that's what Daniel's thinking. That's why he's going for such thick value, right? That's why he's going for these meaty sizes.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like just a straight up exploit to go that big, but I could be wrong.
No, I agree
and
with
here
you.
comes Daniel, and he bets 54,000.
My phone just started talking.
I would think even though Phil doesn't like it, he's not in love with it.
See,
So
this is
once you get called
He's gonna
twice, like now your bet is just so strong.
Right,
on the
and I don't
river.
understand why he's sizing down now.
I don't think he's going to raise.
Right? Because like
I could be wrong.
now he's trying to represent his bluff range, but it should be the exact opposite. Now I would be all in with my bluff.
Just 2x.
Come on, Phil.
Right?
Yeah, I don't
think it's
know.
gonna be
I don't know how that
call.
plays out 3 ways on the river. Like you might have to still keep it somewhat in line, like under pot or something. But yeah, I mean the small
Well, I'm
bet
saying
is,
once you if you had the choice,
Yeah.
you would go small turn, large river, not the inverse.
Yeah.
Not large turn, small river.
Phil going over everything.
I think this
in
is
his head.
like, I don't know. Maybe this is like a bit of a PLO concept where it's like you're charging the draws the maximum on the turn, and then you're trying to get called by like a 9 on the river. Because there is that aspect of it. Like when you're value betting a 10, what are you trying to get called by? I don't even know if you could value bet a 10 though.
He's thinking
on the river.
Can one of these guys have me beat?
the top card pairing is just such a specific scenario
in
where you have
reality,
to be a
they
little
both
more
have a
careful,
beat.
and then multi-way you have to be pretty damn careful because
Yeah.
top pairs exist so at such a high
Puts the
frequency.
chips back in the stack. Great
like
lay
even
down.
value betting King Jack here is really hard.
Patrick's got a call.
But I think Patrick's just thinking like, okay, if he has ace 10 or king 10 and he's taking this line, like he's
Patrick
probably
can't
not
get
folding
away.
because it's such a good price.
Right.
I guess.
I think the jam here is too thin. I
It
think he's
feels
making up.
very
I
thin.
think he's making up for not raising a prior street.
Yeah.
Right, and now he's just like gambling that Daniel has a naked 10 that can call, and probably predicating that off of the sizing change, where it's like he went really big on the turn, which kind of indicates ace 10, and then he sizes way down on the
Patrick
river, trying to
goes
get called
all
by a
in.
worse 10.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And also
He thinks he has the
for
best hand.
Patrick, he was like, I was going to call all in on the river, and this is
Right.
like an important concept.
And
If I
Daniel's
was
got a
going to
call.
call all in on the
Almost
river and
check the
he bet
river, too.
smaller, and I have like that
Daniel
strength of
doesn't
hand,
like it.
I
Yeah.
need to put in myself. Otherwise, I let him dictate how much money we put in the pot when I have a very good hand.
Yeah.
And that's just a bad way to go about poker in general.
Correct. Yeah.
And then Negreanu's like, okay, well, he's not jamming less than a vote, so I beat 5s and I lose to queen 10. I lose to 2 10s.
No, you had
The issue is with that logic, and it's sound, and it's where
Daniel
most
is
people
debating
gravitate
calling.
towards to begin with. I think it just
Patrick is not
already writes
raising without
off
a
the
full
fact that
house,
Patrick
and
can have
there's only one
a
full
bluff.
house that Daniel can beat.
So if Patrick has a hand like queen 9 of
He's
clubs,
throwing it away.
Look at that.
if he has a hand like queen 9 of clubs, that's like the nut bluff.
Patrick was convinced
Yeah, that's a
he
good
had
point.
the best hand.
And Patrick's certainly like one of the few guys capable of
Right, it's
finding
like
it.
he would get there with queen 9 of clubs, he would check the river, and then he would face this weird size where now all of a sudden there's an opportunity to be creative.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard not to go for it. You know, you block 9-10, which is pretty important factor there. Or actually, I guess you don't because the 10 of clubs is out. But maybe queen 9 of clubs wouldn't be the ideal one. But as far as hands that you land there with, I don't know that you're going to find a better one.
Yeah, it's one of those
Blocking
spots.
the queen is nice.
It doesn't really matter what you're blocking or unblocking. It's just so hard to find a good bluff hand
Yeah.
that you might as well. I guess you could have like queen jack of clubs and unblock like the 9x of clubs or something like that. But I don't know.
Yeah. In any event, I think, like, again, price being laid, impossible to fold 9s there. I think
Yeah.
the 6s fold versus Gus is much easier because it's not just quad 5s that beat you, you know?
The problem with the Gus hand, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't fold, or I mean, I don't know what was going on back then.
Yeah, of course.
You feel wildly under-repped if you're Negreanu.
Because you 3-bet this hand and flop
Yeah,
this-
you feel like you're
yeah.
expected to have like aces or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when you actually have a boat, you're like, oh, maybe he. But then the 4-liner shows up, right?
Mm.
I guess you could say like maybe he has like 8-7 for the flop straight that's just going for it now or something like that. But
Yeah.
it's such a stretch to imagine that your opponent sees this level of money put in the pot of strength and still jams a straight.
After check raising the flop and then, checking the next 2 streets.
Yeah.
To jam river. Like, that seems pretty unlikely. to be a 7. I think it's pretty easy to deduce that he's not bluffing. Now it just becomes a matter of like, does he have pocket 9s or pocket 8s? Like the only bluff would be 9-8, but back then that's impossible to expect.
Do we think Antonius' jam is pretty wild?
Yeah, of course. That's what we're saying. It's just like way too thin. He's trying to make up for lost value on previous streets, and somehow he ends up winning like a 400K pot that he didn't deserve.
It's kind of weird. It's like you're not losing to that many combos unless you expect Negreanu to always take this exact line with Queen 10 offsuit, which he may not pick that size on the turn.
On the turn, right. Yeah.
And if that's the case, then there's I'd imagine there's only like 2 combos of Queen 10 suited, or maybe you don't bet that too. So like basically you're losing to pocket 9s.
Yeah.
So and you think that this size is like weighted towards ace 10, king 10 a lot?
I think the problem is of why it's always going to be exactly 9s or 5s, in my opinion. And the reason is because it unblocks a 10 and all the draws. So when he has ace 10, I think he just sizes correctly.
Yeah.
I think he just sizes, half, 66%, something like that.
I'm not even 100% convinced that he's always betting king 10 on the river. After having like three-quarter potted it on the turn and gotten called and overcalled, it
might just be boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that might be his train of thought. So when he gets jammed on, it's like, well, I'm only betting boats.
Yeah, exactly.
How can I call
think
with
that's kind
an
of
underboat?
Yeah.
Is he getting 3-1 here?
Yeah. Yeah. 100,000 to win 312, 311, give or take. Yeah. I mean, you got to pay.
What position is Antonius again?
I think he was the original raiser.
Oh, I see.
I think. Don't quote me on that. He might have defended the big.
Oh, so Negreanu maybe just doesn't have Queen 10 offsuit. I thought Negreanu was the opener.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he was the original raiser and Negreanu flats. No, he has Queen 10 for sure. He should be flatting button. They're playing ante. I think you're playing, especially after Gibbs gets in. Like you're gonna want to play pots where the recreational's in there pretty wide. The reason why you don't flat Queen 10 often on the button versus like an earlier open is it has as much to do with being dominated as it does to do with getting squeezed behind so often.
Yeah, I'm not sure he would call with Queen 10-0 after Gibbs calls just because it plays so poorly multi-way.
That might be
true.
And
he's going to go 4 ways.
Yeah.
Most likely. Like Ivey's going to be in there
Yeah, he
a
might
lot.
just have the suited variety.
But I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Like Negreanu might flick it in, he might not.
Old Negreanu definitely would have flicked it in, but I think this is right around the Doug challenge. So he's probably trying to play a little bit more theory.
By the way, the Hellmuth Negreanu heads up match was so entertaining because the way it ran out between him and Negreanu was so funny. I don't know if you guys caught a lot of that, but it was.
What hand is this?
It wasn't a particular hand. It was so after Negreanu lost the big heads up grudge match against Doug, he played like the high stakes duel against Hellmuth, and they played 3 matches. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, Negreanu got a lot of practice in. Like he's quite good. Yeah. He's getting much better at heads up. Like he's going to smash Hellmuth. And Hellmuth dusted him in the most ridiculous and hilarious ways. Like
because he's just doing things unexpectedly.
Yeah, like their first match, Negreanu whittles him down to like 10% of stack.
Back from dust, right?
Yeah, Negreanu got him down without an all-in, down to like 10 or 15% of starting stack. And then without ever being all in, I'm pretty sure Hellmuth just ran it all the way back up.
It was the same thing. Daniel made like a ridiculous fold with pocket 9s.
Did he?
Yeah, where Phil was bluffing with like 10-7 or something.
White magic,
like that.
Man.
Yeah.
White magic.
Gotta play up that image. You guys don't see what goes on behind the scenes. Woo! Okay.
What was Bolt doing?
I thought he had to go shit. So I opened the door for him, and then he followed me back up here. All right, we're going to get to the culmination of this. We have 2 hands to wrap it up, and these are going to be the bluff portion, my favorite portion of the top hands. So the first one's going to be, this is way back. Actually, they're both way back. First one is from the PCA 2007. Now, you might have saw this circulating because WPT put this clip out. It's long-haired Ike playing outside at the Bahamas.
Isaac right behind him with a 3 deuce of diamonds.
Just getting after it, heads up versus Ryan Doubt. What you guys don't know is this was a star-studded final table. Jonathan Little was at the final table. Ryan Doubt, Isaac Haxon, who ultimately went on to win, I think.
Yeah, he's checked.
Maybe Doubt won.
Yeah, Doubt won it.
Maybe Doubt did win, yeah.
I took that as a personal tragedy win. He ran this bluff and then didn't win the
Yeah,
tournament.
that's fair.
A small tragedy.
Jay Little was at the final table. Robert Mizrachi was also there. And then
King of Diamonds
good
comes
friend
off now.
from Pittsburgh, PA, who I think got fourth, won John
once
Ford.
again with his nothing hand. No,
Never to be heard or seen from again.
This is the one that nicknamed LeMan of the Devil, right?
Yeah, John Ford is the one who called LeMan of the Devil. He's from Johnstown, PA. Lives in Pittsburgh now. Big shout out to him.
Vince, the only way Isaac can win this pot is to bet at it. He's got the worst two cards you could have right now, a deuce and a 3, and he's taking a stab at it for $700,000.
The 3-bet bluffs are so fucking gangster because you have to be so sure that you're being rebluffed.
Yeah. Well, this is incredible.
Long-haired Ike is such a unique and
ironically, he's got the best
unbelievable character. Look at him.
But he doesn't.
He reacts to this raise in a very interesting way.
Ike looks like if Agent Smith was doing acid.
What an amazing raise this is.
He just immediately puts his head down, and anybody else would take that as like a sign of defeat. But no, he's just calculating.
Yeah,
like the computer's just running. You know, he just needs to know.
You know, it's like Isaac's card.
Well, anyone else would also like if you put your head down like that, you would never raise after that. You'd be like, oh, I made myself look too weak.
Yeah.
Like he's sick to his stomach, and I don't blame him.
I wonder
he took a stab at this pot, and the guy
at this point in time if the expectation was that Doubt would fold a
queen.
queen.
He hasn't mucked yet. I mean, the only ridiculous chance he would have.
It's not that unheard of. I mean, Ike has Jack 10 for sure.
He had an interview where he basically said that he thought through the hands and basically was like, I don't think you have it. I think you're just bluffing a lot here.
That's fair. I mean,
Re-raise all in.
Point is that Doubt is capped at a queen through the bet check bet line. He never has Jack 10. He never has a full house. He never has like king queen or anything like that, you know. So it's like he literally only has a queen or worse.
Yeah,
and worse would obviously fold.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought he would not have queens there. I forget.
Like pocket queens?
No, like a queen.
Just a queen? Yeah. I mean, I just think like he very well could, but probably had the expectation that he might fold trips. I mean, he's beat by a lot. Same thing, right? Like, you back somebody into a corner and you say that I have a stronger hand than the obvious value that's out there. And suddenly they start, doing a lot of mental gymnastics where it's like, what the fuck could he shove all in with?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And you see like Negreanu makes a huge fold there with pocket nines. Maybe Doubt would have just folded like, queen 9 or something along those lines.
There's these spots in poker where most people are just never bluffing, and it's often these nodes where it would be like you're taking a funny line in the first place. So like I always kind of I always had like this rule with people where I was like, if any good reg ever checks back a street, like they check back the turn and then they raise the river, they just always have it because they understand that this looks full of crap, so they're just not going to follow through with bluffs. And they're not going to raise very often, but the few times they actually trap or river a set or whatever, those are the times that they raise.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is when people do actually bluff that spot, it becomes like TV worthy, a hand like that, because
it works.
It's so rare, and everyone's like, "What was he thinking? How could he fold? Like this guy's not repping anything."
Right.
And it's like, well, yeah, the guy. I mean, 100,000 people have not been repping anything, and then they just always have it because they know they're not repping anything.
Yeah. I think that's very accurate and a good way of putting it. Similarly, maybe not similarly, because this bluff is a lot more outlandish, I think. And for me, this is like the number one hand because, as somebody who grew up watching televised poker and all those things, this is the one that stands out to me. It was a young up-and-comer at the time who was just starting to make a name in the scene.
Oh, my God.
The legend of Brad Booth is just, like, unbelievable. So at this time, he was fresh on the scene in Las Vegas, and rumor was that he spent an entire year renting out a suite at the Bellagio. So the VIP suite, the President's suite, whatever it is, I don't remember exactly how much that cost him, but it was like something obscene, like $20K a month.
Where did he get his run up from?
Bobby's room. So he came out here. I don't know what his story was before coming to Vegas, but he basically came to Vegas, I assume, as just a trip. Started playing in Bobby's room, which I don't even know what the game was back then. It was, I think they had a no limit game. Maybe it was comparable to what it is now, like 100, 200, whatever. And he went on such a hot run that he got the president's suite at Bellagio, stayed there for the better part of a year, if not a full year, and found himself on high stakes poker bluffing Ivey for $1 million. And the thing about that time is that there was no piece selling. There was no real backing of high stakes stuff.
So he just had 100%.
This motherfucker just had it on the line. He just sat and covered everyone and just put bricks of cash in the middle. And like, to me, this was like the most legendary hand because obviously it involved Ivey getting fucked or bluffed anyway. And on top of it, it was like this brash young dude who's playing 4-deuce suited for a 3-bet and then just sticking the screws in on a 7-6-3 2-diamond board. You know,
you love to see it.
Well, you love to see something. Go ahead and run the clip.
I'm all in.
Brad Booth just said he's all in, which means he's putting Phil Ivey all in.
I love you, God.
He put three bricks out there, $300,000 in cash with a 4 high. That's ballsy.
Serious business going on.
The way he put those bricks out there, I would have called very quickly.
Phil Ivey says, what's going on here? And I think what's going on here is Brad Booth is putting Phil Ivey on exactly the type of hand he has, and he doesn't believe that Phil Ivey can call $250,000 or $60,000 right now.
Wish you could put the chips in. The cash just looks so sweet.
That is intimidating.
He just says that because you don't need to wait at the main cage. You know, he might save a lot of money because, you know, his time's a lot of money. So when he's counting the pot and what he can win, counts the 300 or whatever he has, plus another 200.
It's just fucking cool as a cucumber, bluffing the shit out of Ivey, man.
So he has
just so legendary.
I remember Ivey had a similar look on his face when he called Mercier's jam.
Yeah. But except he called.
Except he called, yeah.
It's nice too when you're Booth because, like,
that,
you know, you're jamming for $1 million, but you're not actually covered.
Might be in a dangerous position,
so, like,
taking
this goes
$300,000
badly.
in chips to the cage.
Okay, Sarah.
Might make a stop in the casino.
The crazy thing is too, it's like only Ivey is like
doing this for 2 reasons.
good
One,
enough to fold here, but also like gangster enough to just snap it off.
And two,
it's like you're really playing with fire in a different
He is showing
kind
that
of
he
way.
is totally unpredictable, and he expects this $300,000 bet here to pay dividends in the future.
Gotcha. Yep.
Because he could very easily have a pair of 6s, a pair of 7s, a pair of 3s, and a flop to set. He's trying to say, that's what I have. Throw your hand away, Phil.
Yeah.
And Phil does.
Yep.
Power of overbets, man.
Brad Booth.
Power of overbets. They just work.
How much did Phil bet on the flop?
I think 29K.
Okay.
Something like
so
that.
You're at for like 10x.
Yeah. Just no big deal.
Against some kid that
It's
came
like
from
3x
nowhere.
pots. Yeah. I mean, just fucking pay. I played a hand versus Brad Booth in a 5-10 game many years later, where I was on a steady decline. I had been lighting it. And by all accounts, I thought he was lighting it as well. And I remember it was the first time I had ever done this, but I played a 5-bet pot where I jammed king-queen suited pre and got snapped. And neither of us tabled our hands, and we ran it twice. And I thought, like, you know, the worst case scenario here was I was against ace-king. I was going to be live. I hit a queen on one, and I missed the other one. And he just rolls over 2 fucking kings. And I was like, man, that is a goddamn lesson in not falling victim to the mirage that is the action guy. Like, this guy was going to have kings or better here almost always. We just put in $10,000 in a 5-10 game. I'm the idiot. Let's move on. Those were good times.
I don't know about 1,000 blinds deep, but he could put some money in the pot.
He was not shy about putting money in the pot, but you know, it's one of those things where as the bets escalate, even the loosest guys tend to find the call button with their weaker hands at some point.
In my experience, most people who sit in a bigger game, like 1,000+ blinds deep, are the last person at the table to ever put 1,000 blinds in the pot.
Yeah, very
Like,
much so.
Back in the
That's
day,
something
like
that-
10, 20, 40, you'd see these guys like 50K every day, and like
Yeah.
none of them ever played a 100K pot between each other.
Right.
And the whole time I sat there.
That's something I really emphasize, both in my own play and like if I am giving advice to anybody who's sitting in these deep games and stuff like that, is like whatever you're sitting with, it has to be in play at all times, and you have to have a mindset that allows you to build pots in a proper way where you could potentially play a 2,000 big blind pot. Like, you don't want to be loose and egregious about it. You know, you don't want to just take one pair and fire 1,000 blinds in. But you also don't want to miss out on absolutely stacking somebody when you cool them off. You don't want to miss out on a 3x pot jam bluff because you don't want to put 1,000 blinds in the middle. It's like, that's why we're this deep, man. Like, I'm going to take the volatility on the chin and know that I'm going to get to play this deep often enough. But like, if I land on pot with an SPR of 3 and I think I have the nut bluff candidate, we're in, baby. You know?
Or you could do what that kid did when I first moved to Vegas at the Venetian. Did you hear about that story?
No.
There was this reg at the Venetian who always used to like big boss it, and he put like 50K bricks on the table. This is a 5-10 game. Everyone's like 3K deep.
Yeah.
And whenever he put people in, he'd take the 2 bricks and just shove them out there, which is kind of ridiculous because everyone's 3K deep and he's like 100K deep. One guy got sick of it. And so he went to the bacarrat table and got a 25K chip, which plays in the poker room, but no one's ever seen it before.
Yeah.
And he put it right on top of his stack where it's like easy to see. And he plays a pot with the guy where he has like the nut flush and the guy has like third nut flush or whatever. And the guy's like, I'm all in, puts out all the stacks. And the kid's like, I call. And he's like, oh, like tough cooler. He's like, how much you got? Like 1,300? He's like, no, I got 26.3. He's like, excuse me? And he's like, I got a 20. And they call the floor, and the floor's like, it was sitting right on top of his stack. I don't know what you want me to do about it.
Wow.
It was pretty wild.
Yeah, that one's out there. We kind of talked a little bit about this earlier last week. Jesus Christ. We're in shambles. we're in absolute shambles. Guapo couldn't take it anymore. He had to piss. We were talking about like a spot at the Bellagio where somebody kind of did that with a 1K chip. They walked off, and then they got all in, and they tried to reclaim the 1K chip that was in their pocket and say like it plays or whatever. Nice. Yeah, a lot of those old Richolati, whatever, Scumbag Rich type of angles.
I never saw him. I heard stories, but I never
he
saw
has
him.
all of them. Everyone on the sun. He got me good at the Nugget when Cash played. He had like towers of chips, but it wasn't a whole lot. It was like maybe 3K. It was all small chips, all small denominations. And then he had a few bills like peeking out from the back. And we played this pot where like this fish opened. I think I 3-bet queens. Rich cold called. Fish 4-bet. I 5-bet to put him all in for like 2,500 or 3K. We're playing like 10-20, I think. And Rich jams, and I ask him, or sorry, before I 4-bet or whatever, I asked him if he had any bills, and he just like shows like 3 or 4 bills or whatever. So I 4-bet, and then he jams, and I think it's like a total of 5K because I can see, you know, his chips and a couple of bills or whatever, and so I snap, and we run it twice. He has aces. And I don't think anything of it. I go to pay off the 5K, and he pulls out 2 bricks from behind and has 25K.
Come on. And you had to pay it?
I had to pay.
Wow.
I lost it.
What did you have?
Queens.
Wow.
And obviously I covered. It was like 2,000. I was there as a favor to a friend who like asked me to come. At the time I'm playing like the big game at Arieh every day. So I sat with like, you know, I covered.
So this was
I just covered.
More recently.
Last 10 years. Yeah.
Did you offer to fight him in the parking lot?
I should have. I stormed out of there so fucking fast. I think that was the last time I was as angry as I couldn't see. I was just fucking seeing red. I was living. You know, you got angled, and I was positive that him and this guy Lee were working together. That guy ended up back in jail shortly thereafter. He was broke and was a con man or whatever. So it's like, not only did I know that I got angled, but I also know that like he had dick. and knew that Rich had aces. So he reopened the action so that this would even happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rich cold called the aces, signaled him.
Yeah.
He reopens the action. I now have a good hand. Ask him how much he has. He's like, oh, not very much. You know, only a couple $1,000s. Here's like $300 bills. And it's like, okay, I'm all in. Snap. 2 aces. Also 20K hidden behind.
Unreal.
And who knows if there were even hundreds in those bands. He was notorious for like putting $1 bills in his 10K bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's a fucking scumbag. All right, let's get out of here. We're just gonna play you out. Not even gonna comment it. Just let it run, Guapo. It'll be.
Doug's in the mix.
We're gonna get out of here. My moment is
mix
end,
here.
where
Ryan's in
I
the
just
mix
got
here.
absolutely horse fucked at the
Matt's
Bellagio.
guys is
One
up
of my
here.
favorite TV hands of all time. Me versus Polk. We'll see you guys all next week.
It's pretty standard here. They're super deep.
Yeah, for sure.
An ace-7-7. Doug with the backdoor straight draw flush draw. Berkey with one of the best flops he's going to get here. But Berkey goes for the over half pot bet.
Yeah, I mean,
Doug.
And look at this. It actually, maybe because of that sizing, it gets Doug to spaz a little bit and raise, which you probably shouldn't have that many raises on this flop.
His daddy can't talk.
Look who knows so much, huh? Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
Turn does make Doug a pair, so.
Doug with the overbet, 14,200.
There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Please open his mouth.
So the overbet on the turn, 14 into 11. And
Doesn't look like it's gonna work here.
Mostly dead. He's slightly alive.
Large amount of time.
Oh my God.
what a life. When you run good, you run good.
Holy moly guacamole. Wow.
Welcome to the life of Doug Polk. I think he's going to bet 30,500.
30,000. Burke says he thought Doug was going to shove, but now he doesn't like it as much.
Doug with a Tom Dwan impression, mouth open, staring at the board.
The head bob.
I've seen this look from Burke one too many times.
9.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. Does call.
Makes the call. $100,000 pot for Doug Polk.
Wow.
Goes runner, full house to clip Matt Berkey. What a start in this game for Doug Polk. What a life. You go nuts, turn your hand into a bluff, and just get there. Runner. You're just so dead on the flop.
Hey! Hello in there!
And go backdoor and make a full house. Wow, $100,000 goes to Doug Polk.
The vlog is back.